Did you know that lower budget equipment goes a long way these days? We have 3 different samples here, and all of our listening tests today are going to be done with the Abyss JOAL headphone. It is one of our easiest to drive headphones we've ever made, as well as the lowest budget headphone we've ever made. And it comes in at 30 ohms at 93 dB per milliwatt. So it's very efficient for our stuff, very efficient in general for over-ear planars. So it should take to this equipment very well. We should it should be resolving enough to hear the differences between the amps, but also should be pleasing enough and smooth enough to make it a really enjoyable JOAL level of experience. The first one we'll be testing is the Fozzy Audio GR40. It is listed as a tube preamp, but it does have a headphone out, so we are using that, and we're using the internal DAC that's built into it, so that will be directly connected to the iPad. It is a very cool device. It has trim control for both bass and treble, and I don't know if it's digital or analog internally, but having the knobs on the front of it is a really nice feature these days, something that's pretty much been lost.
All right, so we'll start with this amp on the right here, well, my right. And let's see, the volume control is this copper looking thing. And I'm listening to Sarah McLachlan, Angel.
We'll go with Temporary by Eminem. Currently listening to Losing Keys by Jack Johnson, and the volume's all the way up on this thing. I noticed this tone control does a lot.
All right, this thing sounds tubey. It's soft. It's got a quieter top end. It's not extended, but it's pretty good with vocals.
It sounds very unexceptional, but it doesn't really have enough volume either. So it's kind of an issue. It's cranked and it's okay. Could use a little more power. It's a pretty stylish package, especially if you're not big on this open air aesthetic.
All right, so this thing has tone controls. Could turn up the bass. Helps a little bit. Just crank both the bass and treble. Back it off a little bit. That's neat. You can adjust the sound a bit. It doesn't sound as flat as it did in the neutral settings. That's a cool little amp.
They work okay, but you get a lot of distortion when you start cranking the bass up, especially. And I think overall they're pretty smooth and balanced. There's probably a lot of headphones that benefit from, but it's a little light on power. Okay, it doesn't really have the impact I'm looking for, and volume's maxed out, and it's just it works, but yeah, tone control is not great either. So
the second one we'll be testing is the Abyss X Gremlin, an amp only. So it has the only integration it has is it does have a volume control on it, and it comes with Ray tubes, and we have the core tubes installed, so the stock configuration, and it's unique because it's fully balanced. So it has a bit too much power for its price, and it takes balanced inputs out it takes balanced inputs in, and it only does balanced outputs.
All right, so we're on this middle amp, which is an Abyss Gremlin or something like that, which is I guess like an open source type of circuit design that they decided to make. It's kind of cheating. This doesn't have a DAC built in, so we're running off a K-DAC, a R2R DAC to go into it, and it sounds really good.
Noticeably different. The vocals are more forward on this amp. Definitely more power. So this one's certainly a little more lively than this. A little more dynamic, I would call it. But can be a smidge on the sibilant side, and probably partly to do with the track selection. So it depends on what you're going for. This is my preference over this. And although the tone controls are nice, I think I would find myself playing with them a little too much. So pros and cons there. This has a very different aesthetic than this too. So if you take that whole thing into account, really just depends on what you're trying to get out of it.
Vocals are very smooth, a bit more lifelike than the first amp. It's not as hi-fi-ish. It sounds a little more refined. But that's probably because it's got a really nice DAC as a front end. So it's got a good amount of gain too. Good amount of volume out of Joel.
Goes very loud. So that's good.
Hard to say how much of it is from the KDAC. Obviously, the price points aren't particularly matched on this. So I would imagine this is a higher performance DAC than what's integrated on this. But yeah, without directly comparing, it'd be hard to speculate.
Yeah, better control of the bass than this one, but still kind of like a warmish tubey kind of bass, not like a solid state, you know, but better.
All in all, a nice little tube amp, both of them for the money.
The third one we'll be testing is the Topping L30 E30 stack. It is solid state only, so there's no tubes, unlike the others, and it is a separate DAC and amp combo. It's a little bit older these days, but it is the current revision still. It's Topping's more budget entry level stack that's not an integrated unit.
All right, so now we're on this Zeos amp, and I think this thing's like twice the price of the other two, which still is inexpensive. I think it's like $250 or something like that. But
this is definitely more what I'm used to. Solid state. I don't have a tube amp at home, so the bass has more impact, more gain than both of these.
Oh, this is dramatically better than that. There's a lot of distortion creep though in the low end, so I'm not sure what's up with that.
But you're instantly hit with way more information, way more high frequency information. It's not bright, it's smooth. The vocals are way clearer than the other two tube amps.
Yeah, more control. So yeah, I like this one the best on it so far.
So this certainly aligns more with my preferences. This is probably number 2, but if we have different DACs between, it's hard to say how much difference there is there. This, overall, it's definitely the most rounded package, so that's appealing. The price point's competitive, and it's got an integrated DAC, and it's aesthetically pleasant. And, you know, this isn't the best looking, and this is obviously an acquired taste. So it really depends on what you're going for. But sonically, it's a tough one. All these kind of have pros and cons. This probably would be my preference, but the pesky distortion seems strange, and it doesn't seem to go away on medium gain either, so I don't know where it's coming from.
And then, of course, we have our reference system, the 11 Audio Broadway with KDAC.
Well, this amp we use all the time, so I'm quite used to it. It's very nice. It's very well balanced. It's got tons of power.
Oh, it's like immediate. That's how different it is.
This is challenging. So clearly very different products here, but the performance of this is certainly more well-rounded. No distortion issues or whatever. No real standouts or highlights though either. It just sounds nice. It's a pleasant, good sound. A little softer and warmer. These tend to be a bit more clinical and harsh sounding, but this stack in particular had a benefit. It seemed to almost pull apart the female vocals from the rest of the track. So if you're into that, it had sort of almost an effect where you feel more separation. And none of the other things did that. And I don't know if that's really a pro or a con. And I'd like to hear a bunch of other tracks on it to see how that really works out. But it's pretty obvious, actually.
One thing is notice on this, especially with Angel, but it has a lot of space to it. The spatial information is crazy on the better amp. The dynamics are way better too. I mean, from top to bottom, you hear way into the space. You know, more of the recording. And see, the longer I listen to this amp, the more features you can see what you get for a way dramatically higher price, but it's a very refined amp. It's beautiful. with Sarah McLaughlin. It's probably the most emotional of the amps here in terms of what it gives you out of music, so it's pretty cool.
Just the spaciousness. Like these have a slight tubiness to them, and this one is a little flatter sounding, but this is like best of both worlds, really.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you have any questions about equipment pairings with Joel, as you can see, I spend a lot of time sampling a lot of different equipment and know this stuff pretty well. The best ways to reach me are either through the number on our website at abyss-headphones.com. You can also email, or you can chat message directly through the website. I'm available at all three of those, normal business hours, and share what you have now, share what you're thinking about getting, and we can, look at your budget and put together something that works for you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.